Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for checking out my channel. I really do appreciate it. My name is Shane Walls and I make my living as a fine art nature photographer who truly depends on his tool watches when I'm out in the field, whether it be timing my hikes or timing my exposures. Tool watches are an intricate tool in my photography process. And this video today is kind of about my amateur journey as a watch collector as I search for that ultimate tool watch. So, is Rolex slowly phasing out stainless steel watches for more gold and precious metal options? Now, I've been getting a lot of comments and questions from you about what are my thoughts on Rolex for this year's Watches and Wonders. And I'm going to kind of tie this all in with, phasing out steel watches off the back of my other video, which I did probably about a year and a half ago, Rolex's last true tool watch, the Rolex Explorer 2, like I'm wearing here. And this, again, I'm not an expert on this. I'm just an amateur watch collector, but I really think I've been seeing the signs, and I will be the first to admit, I've kind of gone down the rabbit hole of the blogs, watching maybe a few too much videos on YouTube about this, but the pieces are all starting to fit a bit. In the way that it looks like Tudor is becoming more of the sports watch, stainless steel watch, and Rolex is becoming more of a jewelry piece, making its way up to the Holy Trinity, so to speak. And I think these releases at this year's Watches and Wonders really speaks to that. Now let's not forget, the Holy Trinity, VC, Patek, and AP, they were all in the same situation that Rolex is now. They had a lot of steel watches and then they slowly moved away from steel watches to now being, I think, each one maybe has one or two collections with just a few steel watches. Most of their watches are precious metal. It's just when they did it years and years ago, it wasn't like now when there's all this attention, especially on Rolex, the biggest watchmaker in the world, there wasn't all this attention on them when they slowly moved away from it. And Rolex now, they're still slowly doing it, but the attention on Rolex has piqued some interest, especially mine, on this subject. Now, Rolex has never really been known for innovation. Throughout their history, they take what's out there and make it the best possible thing it could be. I think it's really sad to say, but this day and age, watch innovation, especially the movement part of watches, isn't really at the forefront of a lot of these watchmakers. It's more, horology is becoming more of jewelry in my mind, jewelry pieces instead of just amazing timekeeping timepieces. And I think Rolex kind of missed the boat on this one. I think they were still concentrating on good, hardy tool watches that worked well and were very accurate. Whereas let's say Patek and AP have kind of moved more towards the jewelry piece long ago. And let's face it, back to this day and age, the watch buying crowd is completely different. Definition of luxury is completely different. There's no quiet luxury anymore in the world. If you have a nice watch, you want people to see it. You want gold, you want diamonds. Buyers want loud colors or eye-catching designs. It's a sad fact, but I think that's the way it's going. And now watch buyers today, if they just want a watch, they'll get an Apple watch or something like that. If you want a luxury watch, you got to make sure people know it's a luxury watch. Now, I think this is so telling of Rolex's future plans. They took arguably their best tool watch and just flat out made it a jewelry piece. There's no tool function anymore for this watch. There's no reason to wear the deep sea now, underwater, or anywhere where it's going to get scratched, or anywhere dangerous, anywhere a tool watch should be. They completely threw that out the window. As well as adding their flagship watch, the Daytona. Instead of printing out more metal pieces, they're just adding more bling, more diamonds, more precious metals. Now think about this. If they just wanted to sell watches, I mean, it's about making money, their business, I get that. But you think the smart way, the Daytona, there's still sometimes a 10-year waiting list for a steel Daytona. If Rolex just wanted to sell more watches and just be in the now and make money, they would just make, and they can just make more steel Daytonas and sell them. But like Rolex always does, they're looking decades into the future. And now just to keep adding diamonds, precious metals to their flagship piece, like the Sea Dweller being in gold, I really think this is kind of showing Rolex's hand where they're moving to, what they want to be popular, what they want to sell. Adding to that, go back a couple years, taking again one of their arguably best tool watch, the Rolex Explorer, making it two-tone in gold. You've completely ruined that watch. It's not a tool watch anymore. There's no reason to have it in gold unless to be a showy piece. Looking at the Rolex catalog today, there's only 2 models that you can only get in stainless steel, and that's the OP and the Air King. You can kind of argue the Rolex Explorer 2 only comes in stainless steel, which it does, but it's part of the Rolex, it's part of the Explorer line, which, like I just mentioned, the Explorer now comes in two-tone. Look back 15, 20 years into Rolex's catalogs, 6 collections were only available then in stainless steel. Now I know gold, titanium's coming into it. It's easier to work with these metals now than it was back then. But look at, Patek, AP. Back then too, they were already kind of moving towards that precious metal, and so it shows it was doable back then to move to precious metal. Rolex wasn't doing that at the time. Now, obviously it looks like they are. Rolex is now doing display backs. I mean, there's no need for a display back on a tool watch. Display back is only for beauty. It's only for appearance. A closed case back makes the watch a lot tougher, more water resistant. So that just goes to show you again, Rolex is moving towards form over function. That all being said, maybe the most compelling trend that is moving Rolex away from steel is all the new environmental steel laws. It's becoming very expensive and very hard to now manufacture and create more refined steel, which is used in high-end watches. So this idea of Rolex switching to more precious metals could be environmental foresight. You got to remember, other watch brands aren't making nearly as many stainless steel watches as Rolex. So it's just smart business, smart thinking to push that idea of if environmental rules are getting more strict, and really if stainless steel is that bad for the environment, things will be changing in the future. Rolex might just be ahead of the curve once again on that thought. Want to breathe some new life into your home or office? Why not do it with some fine art and nature photography? Through my exclusive fine art photography, I celebrate the beauty and grandeur of nature, but also the solitude and peace that I feel when I'm outdoors. Limited to only 18 prints per image, I use the best possible cameras when capturing that perfect moment in time, allowing for amazing image quality on any scale. Industry-leading printers with top quality materials to create these nature scenes as if you were there witnessing them for yourself. Check out my website for more information on these award-winning photographs. Rolex sees that the watch market is shrinking. If you want a watch that just tells good time, get a digital watch, get an Apple Watch. But if you want a luxury piece, if you want a status symbol, you now have to go with diamonds or gold. A steel watch doesn't do that anymore. And so why put these efforts, I mean, this is all my opinion, I know, but why put all these efforts into creating something that metal, stainless steel market for a watch is just shrinking farther and farther? There'll always be that market. But the real market, the real money is almost jewelry now. Now there's always gonna be that small market like myself that I buy Rolex watches just because they're extremely durable, reliable, accurate with 10-year intervals for service. That's an incredible watch. And I know, I mean, when I buy a Rolex, I'm never gonna sell it. I don't wanna show it off. I just wanna have a watch that's dependable and just be able to hand it down to the next generation. There's always gonna be that market for that, just a tough, durable, good watch. But that market is shrinking ever more. And even with digital quartz, those watches are always getting better. I still don't trust them because of batteries, and every time I'm out in the cold weather, they die. But anyway, that market, but Rolex sees that market is shrinking. Don't get me wrong, I think they'll always have at least a few steel watches in their collection. They'll probably always have, well, maybe, might even switch to titanium now that I think about it. But I think, you know, like Patek, like AP, like VC, they'll always have a few little steel watches. But mark my words, in 10 or 15, maybe 20 years, and 20 years go by, you still want to call me out, go for it. I really think Rolex 85% of their catalog, I think, will be in precious metal or with diamonds. Because that is where, again, I've said this so many times, that just seems to be where the market, where high-end watchmaking is going now. Just there's no real room anymore for a steel, nice watch if it's not a status symbol. Tell me what you think down in the comments. If I'm totally wrong, be constructive about it. If you just call me an idiot, I'm gonna rightly assume that you're a 40-year-old living in your mom's basement with no friends. But if you have any constructive comments, think I'm wrong, think I'm right, please leave them in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts. This was just a fun exercise. This is what I see coming from the last couple of years of Watches and Wonders. And I'm a watch nerd. I really enjoy this kind of stuff and love talking to you about it. So thank you so much again for watching. I really appreciate it. Also too, just a reminder, if you're in the Southern California area this summer, I will be exhibiting my work, some of the exclusive pieces that are almost sold out, at the Festival of Arts Pageant of the Masters in Laguna Beach, California this summer. I think it's from July 5th or 6th to August 31st. Click in the link below for the exact dates and time, and feel free to come by. I think tickets are like $10 to get into the art show. There's free music most nights, bar. It's a fun event. So come, I'd love to talk watches, talk art with you. It's a fun summer event. Thanks again for watching. I really do appreciate it. Cheers.